Hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching JFG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm going to be giving you my Spider-Man No Way Home box office prediction, the very last minute. Tomorrow the movie comes out for the UK, and then from there it's going to come out in the US starting Thursday afternoon and everything, so it's very last minute. But I want to give you my box office prediction. I was really waiting for the critic scores to come in, which is why it's very last minute. But yeah, I think I have a pretty good box office prediction for this movie, so yeah, let's get into all that info. I'm definitely going into statistics and everything, so yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting video. But before I get into all that, please make sure to leave a like. This video took a long time to make and everything, so please leave a like. It would be very helpful, so please leave a like I said, as well subscribe for a lot more content. Expect a lot of Spider-Man home content coming this week and next week, like a lot. You're gonna get a lot of content, so definitely just subscribe for it. And lastly, comment down below on where do you think it's gonna open, like what's your own estimation or prediction of the Spider-Man home opening weekend. I'm definitely very curious, so let me tell me that down in the comments. And how many times are you gonna see it this weekend, and when are you gonna see it? Are you gonna see it Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I'm definitely very curious, so definitely show me that down in the comments. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, so there's a lot of factors going into this Spider-Man No Way Home opening weekend to decide how big this movie is going to open, actually. So let's start with the first factor, and this is the most obvious factor, and that is the hype level for this movie. The hype level for this movie is amongst the highest hype levels that we've ever seen for any movie, and it's up there with like Endgame and Infinity War and Star Wars Force Awakens and everything. So it's huge, it's massive, and it's like one of those things where it's an emergency must-watch movie. So what that means is that you have to watch it before you get it spoiled. So that's why it's like an emergency. You have to see it as soon as possible, and a must-watch factor means that everybody's talking about it, so you feel like you have to watch it. And I definitely feel like this movie is going to be that type of movie, just like Endgame was, just like Infinity War was, just like Star Wars Force Awakens was. So I definitely feel like this is what's going to happen with this movie, which is why the box office will automatically increase a lot, especially on Sunday, when people that weren't sure they were going to watch it will go watch it because of how huge the word of mouth is. So or like the most watch factor is. So definitely this is going to play a huge factor into the box office. Then from there we can see that the hype is so huge that domestically the pre-sale tickets have already made $35 million. Actually, that was just in the first day. In the first 24 hours, the pre-sale tickets made $35 million, which is crazy. It's the second highest. In fact, here I have a chart right here where I tell you what are the top 5. And you can see that it's really high. It's just right behind Endgame. So yeah, that's crazy. $35 million from pre-sale tickets is awesome. And these pre-sale tickets, like I said, are the second highest since Endgame. And it actually beat, as you can see, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and Star Wars Force Awakens, which is huge. For context, Spider-Man No Way Home beat out The Last Jedi, which had an opening of 176 million. My bad. Which is huge. Like, if it beat out that, this movie's gonna have a huge opening weekend. It also beat out Rise of Skywalker by more than double, which is crazy. And that movie opened at 220 million. So you can see that this movie's gonna open really big. And it beat out Force Awakens, which the movie opened at $247 million, which was crazy at this time. So yeah, you can see that these pre-sale tickets are really strong, and you can definitely expect to see those huge numbers. I know some people are underestimating, being like, oh, it's going to open around 100, 150, 130. It's not. It's going to beat that for sure. So definitely expect that, especially with these pre-sale tickets. They're huge. They're humongous. And like I said, 35 million just in the first day. Can you imagine now, like weeks after the pre-sale tickets have been being able to sell, and with like more rooms to be, like more screenings that theaters made for taking off other movies. Like maybe they're like, oh, this Spider-Man Home will make us so much more money if we put this movie in this screen. Let's take off this movie and put Spider-Man Home, which they have the right to do. And they actually did this a lot with Endgame, which is why it became the #1 biggest movie of all time, because they took off a lot of screens from other movies. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was the case with Spider-Man No Way Home. So that's definitely gonna do that, and there's always more screens happening. So definitely expect the box office to just go up, and the pre-sale tickets to just be making more money. So yeah, that's very crazy. So it's definitely looking very good for Spider-Man No Way Home, which according to these pre-sale tickets, box office predictions made a prediction that this movie was going to open between 190 million to 250 million, which is huge. That's huge. That would be like at its highest, if I'm right, the second biggest opening weekend of all time domestically, which is huge. I think it would be Infinity War, if I'm right, and it would be Force Awakens. I might be wrong. It might be slightly under Infinity War. No, it will be slightly under Infinity War if it just gets 250. But if it gets something like 255 or something like that, then it would be the Infinity War. So that's huge. That's humongous, and it will be the second biggest opening weekend domestically of all time, which is crazy because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So that's awesome. And that's if it beats the high end. And if it doesn't, it will still be in the top 10 most biggest opening weekends of all time domestically, which is already a record to be said, especially like I said, because it's in a pandemic. And then last night the reviews came out for this movie, and wow, the reviews were amazing. Where at this moment, at least the time I'm recording this video, it could have changed already, and I'm sorry if it had changed. I'm pretty sure it's going to drop more, but at this moment, it's a 99% of Rotten Tomatoes, which is crazy, as you can see right here, 99%, which is crazy. I'm pretty sure it's gonna drop, but I don't think it's gonna get anywhere near down below 90s. I think it's gonna stay in the 90s, probably high 90s, like anything around 95, 94, something like that. I think that's where it's gonna end up, which is huge. Like this one is having awesome reception. The fact that it stays at 99 after 70 something reviews is crazy. So you can definitely see that the reviews here are being amazing. This means that the opening weekend will not go down like we saw with Eternals, where the Eternals estimates ended up going down, and therefore the actual box office opening weekend went down because the mixed reviews really hurt the movie. Like it's rotten right now. I think it has a 49%. So it really hurt the movie going into the weekend, and it just kept hurting it. So you can see that it's not gonna have that. Instead, it's gonna have a factor like Shang-Chi, where Shang-Chi opened, and because of the incredible reviews and the incredible word of mouth, it just increased day after day after day. Which leads me to my next factor, and that is that this movie is gonna have an incredible word of mouth, like an incredible word of mouth. It's gonna have an incredible word of mouth from the fans that are gonna go crazy over saying, "Oh my God, the villains are back!" And obviously, that expected Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, which I definitely expect. Yeah, people are gonna go crazy, and the word of mouth is gonna be insane, especially with this, judging by these reviews, which every critic has different taste and everything, and in Rotten Tomatoes for it to have 99%, that means most people will really enjoy this movie, which means that the word of mouth is going to go nuts, like it's going to go crazy, and yeah, this is going to be, like I said, playing into the factor of emergency watch. You must watch this movie now, like it's a now thing, you have to watch it, it's an event, you know what I mean, which is huge, and that's great. You know, that happened with Shang-Chi, and that's definitely going to happen with this movie for sure, so I'm so happy for this movie. So with all these things on the table, the hype, the pre-sale tickets, which are huge, the emergency must-watch factor, I don't want it to get spoiled for me, so I have to watch it right now. It's like I said, it's an emergency. To the reviews, which were amazing. My estimate or my prediction, whatever you want to call it, for the Spider-Man No Way Home opening weekend domestically is that the movie will debut between $225 million to $275 million, which is crazy. That's gonna be mind blowing. But I definitely think it has that high of a potential. Like I said, everything is really pushing for this movie. So yeah, I do think that it's gonna get that high up, which would be insane. Like, so we're in the middle of a pandemic and everything, and I think that's incredible. I think that's really good. There is, like I said, the pandemic, the COVID wild card, and especially with this new variant, Omicron. There's a lot of people that are starting to back off. So in case that ends up being a bigger problem than I anticipate, and that many people anticipate, then maybe the movie will hit the low ends of 200 million, but I don't think anything below 200 million is possible. I do think it's going to pass 200 million just because it's such a huge movie. There's so much like the word of mouth, there's so much must watch factors going into it that I think it will pass 200 million, especially like I said, compared to other pre-sale tickets of other big movies, especially considering the Star Wars movies. I don't think it's going to be 200 million no matter what, but if the COVID factor ends up being stronger than I anticipate, that many people anticipate, then it's going to hit low ends 200 million, 200 million, 205 million, something like that. But I really doubt, like I said, anything below 200 is possible. Like my prediction is that it's between 225 to 275 for a reason, and that's because I do think it's gonna end up in that range. However, it is possible, but very unlikely. But it is possible with like super high, assuming the best for this movie, that this movie hits 300 million opening weekend. I don't think it's gonna happen, but never doubt Marvel. They've showed us once and once again, especially with Endgame, that everything's possible. So it can be done. The only problem is the pandemic. So that's why I'm saying that my prediction is still between 225 to 275 million, and I'm more likely going towards the top side of 275, like 250 to 275 million. That's more or less where I'm actually going to, but just to play it safe, 225 is where I'll put the lowest margin. So yeah, that's my range for the predictions, and yeah, I'm definitely very curious to hear your own range down in the comments below. So definitely tell me your own predictions or estimates for this movie's opening weekend. I'm definitely very curious, as well as how many times you're gonna watch it and when are you gonna watch it. I'm definitely very curious, so definitely make sure to tell me that down in the comments. As well as subscribe for a lot more videos. Like I said, Spider-Man home content is gonna come out crazy, as well as Hawkeye content, which is gonna go crazy tomorrow, so or today, depending on when you're watching the video. So yeah, subscribe and you're gonna really enjoy my channel and my content. So yeah, and lastly, like, this video took a lot to make and it took a lot of statistics and everything, so please leave a like, it was very helpful, and yeah, please, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, hope you have a great rest of your day, and this is James Entertainment out.